Welcome to the Chronicles told by the Roracle. Cases of the missing, murdered, and unsolved. I'd like to thank everyone for joining me today, and don't forget that all source information can be found at thecertifiedroracle.com. And don't forget, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a case. Let's get started with Chronicle number 37, the Rachel Karin Hurley case. The year was 1990. The Cold War had ended and Nelson Mandela was freed from a South African prison after 27 years. Home Alone was dominating the box office, while Milli Vanilli's career ended due to a lip-singing scandal. The Hubble telescope received its first pictures back from space. Meanwhile, President Bush signed the Americans with Disabilities Act. Kids and teenagers were making mixtapes and hanging out at the mall. Some were spending their days on the beach with friends soaking up the summer sun. Flannel and Bart Simpson t-shirts paired with jeans was the style. Beanie Babies were all the craze, and no one knew many decades later they would be worth a lot of money. One March day, a popular 14-year-old young lady would go boating with her friends, only to have the adventure end in tragedy and heartache. Rachel Karin Hurley was born on October 14, 1975, to Daniel and Andrea in Englewood, New Jersey. Rachel had one sister who was 3 years older than her, named Erica. The family would reside in Jupiter, Florida. Rachel was a spunky, outgoing, very popular 8th grader at Jupiter Middle School in 1990. The fun-loving 14-year-old played second base on the softball team. It's been reported she was the best second baseman in the whole county. She was the spotlight in any room she entered. Rachel loved softball, and she loved spending time with her friends and going to the beach. She was very close with her sister, even with the age difference. On Friday, March 16, 1990, she would attend a slumber party at her friend Maddie's home, along with another friend, Erin. On Saturday morning, Erin's mom would pick the girls up and drop them off at Carlin Park Marina to meet up with friends to spend the day out boating on a 12-foot Boston whaler. However, none of the parents knew the girls would be going boating that morning. Erin recalled while out on the boat, Rachel had fallen off the side and the boys acted like they didn't see her and circled around to get her. When she was back aboard the boat, Erin said they all just laughed and laughed about it, and that it was a very great day with friends. They would have no idea how much their lives would change at 2:45 p.m. when the boys would drop Rachel, Erin, and Maddie off at the Jupiter Inlet, as Rachel was going to meet her mom at 3 p.m. in the Carlin parking lot. At 3 p.m., Andrea arrived in the Carlin Park parking lot and waited on her daughter. As Rachel, Erin, and Maddie headed back to the parking lot, Maddie had to use the bathroom. The girls asked Rachel to wait on them so they could all walk back together, but Rachel said her mom would be waiting and took off running. She would run down the beach a ways and take a shortcut through the woods where a path had formed over the years. Parents had warned their kids not to go in the woods, as it was a known area to have homeless camps. On that day, all Rachel was thinking about was making it to her mom by 3 p.m. Rachel was a short young lady, but a very fast runner, so she thought it would be quicker to run through the woods that afternoon. It would be a fatal mistake and an innocent life lost. Erin remembers Rachel running with her hair flipping that day, pink hairbrush in hand, wearing a white t-shirt and holding a towel. Erin also remembers begging Rachel to wait on them, as she knew Rachel shouldn't go alone. But Rachel was determined and wanted to meet her mom on time at 3 p.m. As Andrea waited in the parking lot, she began to think she was maybe at the wrong location. Then she saw Erin and Maddie. The girls were shocked that Rachel was not with her mom, waiting for them. Andrea asked the girls where Rachel was. They told her she had taken off through the woods to meet her. This started to worry Andrea. Going back to her original thought of being at the wrong parking lot, Andrea took off to the inlet parking lot, thinking she would arrive and Rachel would be waiting, saying, "Mom, I told you the inlet parking lot, not the Carlin Park one." However, when Andrea arrived, Rachel was not there. She began to panic. There was no way in the world her daughter would miss a team meeting before a baseball game. as they were supposed to sell pancake raffle tickets before the game. Andrea, thinking her daughter might have went home, headed there to check. When there was no sign of Rachel, she called friends and neighbors and headed back to Carlin Park to look for her daughter. Erin remembers all of her family participating in the search. She remembers being in the woods with her mom and dad and other siblings when she asked her mom what they were looking for. This is when her mom would take all of the kids out of the wood, as she realized there was a chance they could find Rachel dead, and that was something no one wanted to find. All of Rachel's friends headed to the Civic Center to wait, hoping the news would come that Rachel was found alive. At 8:15 p.m., Erin's dad would come and tell them that they had found Rachel. However, the news was not good. They believed she was dead. All of the teens burst into tears and screams of agony. They had just lost a very close friend. At 8:30 p.m., the Palm Beach police would go to Rachel's body and declare her dead at the scene. She was face up and nude. Her clothes were scattered nearby. An autopsy would determine she was raped and died by asphyxiation. Some articles say she was smothered to death. However, the detective now on the case has declined to say whether or not she was strangled or suffocated. Who had done this to an innocent 14-year-old? A short distance away was a homeless camp where police would recover women's items and other items they bagged for evidence, as they could be pertinent to the case. The next day, police searched 8 miles of beach and woods looking for any evidence, although nothing was found. The police would receive a tip from a high school boy who claimed to be on the beach that day and saw a disheveled man coming out of the woods with no shirt on and what appeared to be scratches all over his chest. It should be noted that Rachel did put up a fight before she died, and she did have defensive wounds on her. The boy would describe the man as being 6 foot tall, 160 pounds, with a tan complexion, dark blonde hair, and a beard. He was in his mid-30s. The man was shirtless with jeans and construction boots on. This would lead police to think it was possible a homeless man had ambushed and killed Rachel, as this area was home to many homeless camps. It should be noted that the teenage boy who came forward was the only one who saw this man emerge from the woods. An FBI profiler would say the killer was more than likely a white male between 16 and 25 years old who lived at home in a middle-class family. The police would offer a $15,000 reward in hopes someone would come forward with any information. Nothing would turn up. However, police thought maybe they would find something if they reviewed all the news footage. The police also would tape the funeral of Rachel, and something stood out to them, as one high school acquaintance named Billy Fagan had inserted himself into the investigation. He was talking to reporters and was very distraught at the memorial service held for Rachel. Billy was 17 years old and attended the same school as Rachel. Later, he would be charged with 31 sex crimes against various young ladies. The claims would be dismissed, and he would go on to face rape allegations as well. However, they too were dismissed. Police would focus on Billy for a long time. He was never charged in connection to the crime. It has been said by detectives his DNA was not a match. However, the detectives have also said that he would not rule anyone out as a suspect based on DNA alone. Another person police would look at was Douglas Gross, who went by Frog. He was a man in prison for aggravated assault, kidnapping, and battery. Doug's blood was found on a t-shirt nearby next to Rachel's clothing. Some say the shirt was located in a garbage can. An inmate said that Doug had confessed to killing Rachel and claimed a man named Frankie Washburn had helped him commit the crime. When the police went and talked to Frankie, they questioned him, and he would take a polygraph test, give his DNA and hair sample. Frankie would even give an impression of his teeth to be compared to a bite mark that had been found on one of Rachel's breasts. DNA would rule out both Frankie and Doug, and it would appear they were back to square one. Over 127 men have had their DNA tested and have been ruled out. The DNA was run through CODIS, but it would not produce a hit. It should be noted that all the men listed above, that were teenagers at the time, were said to be acquaintances of one another and hung out together. Police say they do have DNA and are continuing to work on Rachel's case. There are a lot of people still being looked at and tested for a possible match. Detective William Springer is the lead investigator on the case. In an interview with the lead podcast link at the Certified Chronikle, he says they have a suspect who is dead now, but they have collected his son and mother's DNA and are currently waiting for results. This is still an active investigation after 32 years. Daniel, Rachel's dad, passed away while coaching his grandson's lacrosse practice. Detective Springer was heartbroken that he could not solve the case and give Dan closure before he passed away. Detective Springer would also say that a former suspect came forward with more information, and when that was checked out, it was found not reliable. When Springer went back and accused the former suspect, who was in jail, of being involved, he got upset and did not like being accused. This is now someone they are looking at again. Andrea and Erica, Rachel's mom and sister, are still alive, and her friends have started a Justice for Rachel Hurley Facebook page and are actively trying to solve her case. If you have any information, no matter how small of a detail you think it is, please call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-458-8477 or visit the Justice for Rachel Hurley Facebook page. I want to thank everyone for watching today. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share so I can continue helping families of the missing, murdered, and unsolved. As always, this is the Chronikle signing off.